Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those who are new, I know you can benefit. So, I just want to say, forgive the pouting in yesterday's video if you're following me, because I actually ended up having a lovely anniversary celebration. My husband, in all his physical pain, which he was still very much in, went through his closet, found brand new pants, a beautiful shirt, was just looking so incredibly lovely. And when I got home from Mass, he was dressed and ready. And I was like, wait, what? Oh my gosh, I was so thrilled. And we drove down to that country club and had a lovely lunch. And I came as me and kept my integrity intact and just had a fantastic salad on my plan, added avocado for fun, had fresh cut fruit, just focused on the conversation and the joy of being there, and was so blessed. It just felt like a real celebration. I was so blessed. And then we got home and I tucked him in, and I've been caring for him all day because he was so brave. But it was all love. It was all love. I felt loved. I was in love. It was just love. So yay God, yay my husband, and just thanks for your prayers, you guys. It worked out. I am done pouting. Anniversary in the bag. On to year 22. All right, so what I wanted to share, when I was at Mass, I was listening to a reading, and it's from the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verses 5 through 7 and 11 through 13, and I will include that in the description of this video. And even though I think the context of it was talking to new Christians who were transitioning from Judaism and trying to trust God and not be taken aback by the discipline that he was seemingly putting upon them. And some people also say that St. Paul was using metaphors for running, and how we need to be running on a smooth pavement, rather than uneven, where we'll actually injure ourselves in the journey. And I don't know about all of that, but what I know is what is so often true. While I was sitting there, it was reminding me of my experience and my challenges with food and becoming a vegan. And one of the things that has been my challenge all along has been seemingly seeing what I refer to as normies, people who can eat normal and not look back. And that has never been true for me, ever. And so I know I've called out to God many times saying, really, Father, I can't be like that. Why can't I just eat normal? Why am I so affected by food? That kind of thing. And it's like, God has been so good in absolutely protecting me from myself. Like, in all this time, with all my obesity, and like I said, I stopped weighing myself at 330. With all my obesity, I never got high blood pressure. I never had cholesterol. Even though I had painful periods, I never got fibroids. I never had gastrointestinal diseases, like none of those things, And so he was just saying, and I'm saving you for great things, Juliana, but you are not making it easy. And, stop pouting, because seriously, you are blessed beyond measure compared to what you're attempting to do to destroy your health and your body, which I so get. So anyway, I was listening to this and kind of seeing it more in reference to the discipline that we're called to have in referring to our food and our food choices. And I just love that God never, basically what I was asking him was, Father, let me be gluttonous. Let me be, as gluttonous as I want, and overeat and punish my body to my heart's content. Please, please, please. And I think he was saying, you know what, Juliana, have those chicks have their fingers down their throat, or they're over-exercising to compensate for how much they're eating, or they're just starving themselves, don't presume to know, as always, because even when people saw me as terrifically heavy, they didn't know that my blood numbers were beautiful even then, because God had a greater plan. And certainly when I see thin people, it doesn't mean they're not in a bad situation. So let me read this to you. It says, "And have you forgotten the exhortation which addresses you as sons?" And please don't be so limited to think that sons doesn't include daughters, okay? That was just biblical talk of the day. It includes all of us. "My son, do not regard lightly the discipline of the Lord, nor lose courage when you are punished by him." And I thought, this is the part that started to get me right away, because so often I will feel punished, more so earlier, like years ago, but I get it. So it says, "For the Lord disciplines him whom he loves, and chastises every son whom he receives." And I think that's just setting the tone. I think any parent is definitely one who disciplines their child for the best interest of the child, not those who are stupidly abusive or out of control, or those who are so selfish that they're punishing their children for themselves. I mean balanced parents who truly know that unless a child is told to not touch a hot stove, they will inevitably burn themselves, right? I mean, children want to do whatever they can, but playing with a sharp knife with bare feet in the backyard just isn't in their best interest. So I'm talking about healthy parents. So it says, "It is for discipline that you have to endure. God is treating you as sons. For what son is there whom his father does not discipline?" This is the most powerful line of all, and this is verse 11. "For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant. Later, it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it." For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant. Later, it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. I love that, because I was just thinking, in choosing to eat healthy, there has to be a lot of discipline in that choice. You literally have to become your own parent. You have to choose to limit all the insane amount of choices we have in this world, and certainly in the United States. We can be as gluttonous as we want. We can do the dollar menu at a fast food place. I used to do that. I used to see how much I can get for my $13.56. Like what was going to give me the most poison for my money. I did that all the time. And then it says, "Therefore, lift your drooping hands and strengthen your weak knees, and make straight paths for your feet, so that what is lame may not be put out of joint, but rather be healed." And I think that's so powerful too, and that's verse 12. And it's saying, stop crawling on your knees and actually stand. Stop being so weak that you can't pick up after yourself, and actually strengthen your weakened knees. Lift your drooping hands, and then make straight path for your feet. It was saying when this was being compared, this is written by St. Paul, to the metaphor of a runner, and how if a runner is on even path, so for me, falling back again and again and again, making those empty promises to myself again and again, tomorrow I'll get well. Tomorrow never comes, as we know. So it says, instead of being on uneven ground where you're lying to yourself every single minute, why don't you actually find integrity and straighten your path for your feet, for each step that you're taking forward? I think we're getting a little too comfortable with the idea of falling forward. I think we just need to keep walking forward the whole way. I think we're getting too comfortable with perfectly imperfect, because that becomes imperfect for me way more than perfectly. And the idea that I can eat anything I want, I often don't get to the point of I choose plants. I stick with I can eat anything I want and go for broke. Like, I have to get out of those mindsets and only go to the end game. So it says, make straight paths for your feet, so that what is lame, meaning the things that are holding you back, whatever's holding you back from becoming the best version of yourself, whatever's holding you back from reaching pure health, whatever's keeping you lame, the excuses, right? The people tempting you, the lack of preparation, not having a plan or following it. what is lame may not be put out of joint, but rather be healed. Let's read that. I'm going to read that part again from 11 to 13. It says, "For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant. Later, it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Therefore, lift your drooping hands and strengthen your weak knees, and make straight paths for your feet, so that what is lame may not be put out of joint, but rather be healed." I hope you see what I'm talking about and how this so matches becoming vegan and choosing wellness and putting aside all the excuses and all the things that are keeping us decrepit and lame and off our health, and going instead on a straight, narrow path that leads to healing, complete healing. That's what was speaking to me when I heard this reading. I'm going to read it completely clean. "And have you forgotten the exhortation which addresses you as sons? My son, do not regard lightly the discipline of the Lord, nor lose courage when you are punished by him. For the Lord disciplines him whom he loves, and chastises every son whom he receives. It is for discipline that you have to endure. God is treating you as sons, for what son is there whom his father does not discipline? For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant. Later, it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Therefore, lift your drooping hands and strengthen your weak knees, and make straight paths for your feet, so that what is lame may not be put out of joint, but rather be healed." Amen. And praise God, I mean, what's it been, about 50 days of wellness? But it's been fantastic. There's such strength in not falling back again and again. There's such strength in not playing all of the mind games. And so the part where it says later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it, I've been being trained for well over a year, right? And I'm finally starting to see the peaceful fruit. There's so much joy in choosing fruit and vegetables. There's so much joy in making a gigantic salad and splitting it in half and having the courage to eat the other half tomorrow, and the simplicity of dressings and very little fat and very little protein and just high carb, low fat, raw vegan for the win. Right? Oh my gosh. I'm getting there. And I just love it. It is for discipline that you have to endure. I haven't had very much discipline in my life. I've rarely had discipline in my life in so many ways. And this isn't just discipline, but a joy of being accountable. And accountability was my word of the year. And I'm happy to have found it. All right, my friends, that's it. Like if you like, join us if you haven't. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think of that? I think it was a very powerful read. Please let me support you in the comments as well on your journey. Tomorrow, another fresh week on our way to the new year. Get ready to share that plan. And subscribe if you haven't. And until we talk again, know that I pray for you. And best of all, believe that you're blessed.